Hi, it's John here. Now I want to just do a bit of a few words about, have we become over-reliant upon scientific method? I just had a thing on the telly about these people with locked-in syndrome, and they put them into a CT scanner and then they've told them to think of tennis, and then it if you are in pain, think of don't think of tennis. If you're not in pain, think of tennis. The bim bom bim bom bim bom. That apparently lights up a particular part of the brain, and they could sort of communicate with these people with locked-in syndrome, but by stuffing them in the scanner. Not really very practical though, is it really? Live sort of 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and then sort of once in a while we'll put you in a scanner and we can communicate with you. I know they're poor souls, but it is a bit technology or medicine gone mad, isn't it? Keeping those sort of people alive. But that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is that although they can tell where the brain is active because they're thinking about tennis, science can't and probably will never be able to see our thoughts. Yeah, if a policeman wants to do a lie detector test, they can supposedly tell whether somebody is telling the truth by the amount of sweat or body temperature or something. But again, they're not actually reading the thoughts of the person. What they're doing is they're seeing the consequence of that person thinking those thoughts is having upon the body. Now the chances are that thought reading is beyond the realms of scientific method. So if psychic phenomena are attempted to be read, attempted to be analysed by scientific method, then scientific method is never going to be able to do it. Now scientific method is having a great amount of trouble finding dark matter and dark energy. It knows it's there because of the mass of the universe, but it can't find it, it can't work it out. Now whether it ever will, I don't know, but what it does tell us is that there is something out there that we don't know about, and whether it's some sort of different dimension or whatever, and this something is actually running right through us. It's right in our brains, and the brain cells have, or possibly, or do have dimensions which we have no clue about what they're getting up to. If you think of consciousness and subconsciousness, think about something like learning to drive a car. The first time you get in a car, you just all fingers and thumbs, you're thinking about a million things all at once. It feels so alien. And yet after you have learned to drive and you've been driving for a couple of years, it all becomes common sense. Not common sense, it all becomes intuitive. It becomes you can drive a car without thinking. And this isn't something which has happened through the conscious process. This is something which has happened through the unconscious process. So I would say it's sort of like the right brain, the right side of the amygdala or whatever part of the brain it is, that you have been educating it, but you haven't been doing it yourself. It's been doing it, and then it's been teaching the intuition. It's been learning itself. So there's lots of things going on there which we're not controlling. It's not like learning a French test, going over and over and over that French test. And there's other things going on in the brain. Take for instance, you go to somewhere like where I was brought up, the family home, and you smell a particular smell, and my family home hasn't changed at all. So you go back and you smell a particular smell or you see a particular thing, and it just takes you to takes you back to, I don't know, 20 years previous or something like that, and you're back there, and you know, the brain has got that capacity to be able to remember things. Sometimes perhaps it wasn't a particularly nice experience what you experience, but you're conscious, and you can say, well, you remember that now, but now you've got so many more layers on the onion, as it were, and you can you are the manager of your mind. You know, we are the managers. We take a lot more control than we used to as we get older. So that's another aspect of it. And what about another aspect? You're just thinking about, you're going to phone somebody up, like a friend of mine who gives me rabbit manure for the allotment. I was just thinking about that. They're there. I was just thinking about sending them email, phoning them up to see whether they had any more available. This was after about 2 or 3 weeks. And I go get the computer, and there's an email. They had 10 bags of rabbit manure to pick up. And those coincidences happen all the time. And you get so used to them that you almost take them for granted and think, it's just one of those coincidences. But is it just one of those coincidences, or are we somehow linked by the ether, by the magnetic fields of the earth or something? This is what present day thinking is coming on to, and it's all linked up with dark matter. So it's fantastic times, and as I said in that previous video, you know, value that unconscious time you have, value your sleep, try and remember your dreams. Can anybody remember dreams? If anybody out there in YouTube land has any tips about remembering dreams and that sort of thing, send me a message. That's great. That's all the sort of thing we need to be doing. Yeah. Right, bye.